So here are the tools that I use to take the old shifter out and install the new short shifter. You're going to need a 5mm Allen key, a T30 Torx, flathead screwdriver, a hammer is good to have. This is the old shifter here. I do want to let you know it was a very difficult job to get up underneath, if you see that lower post, and hook on the shifter linkage.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, Pete's Carport, and welcome to another video featuring the newest car to the channel. This is the Ford Contour SVT. Now, I've already done a couple of things that I didn't want to film, and that is taking this grille off, painting it with a black lacquer paint, and it came out really nice and glossy like I wanted. And then I went ahead and ordered this SVT logo here. I got this off of Amazon for like $7, and it was really nice. I was very shocked, but it had really good reviews. I think it was a 5-star reviewed piece. Then I went on eBay and I was looking for a short shifter and came across this one here, which is by, I believe, Ralco RZ. Not familiar with the brand, but they had great reviews once again. The quality looked really good. It came with a shifter knob, and it was specifically made for this Ford Contour. I already went ahead and opened it up, and I was blown away by the quality. It came very nicely packaged. Actually came in a separate box as well. And this thing is heavy. I mean, it is really heavy. Let me go ahead and get it out of the wrapper and show you guys. All right, here it is. It's even got the reverse pull up, and it was like $50. I was super shocked. It's also a shorter shifter, which was one of my biggest things I wanted to change about this Contour, is how massively long the shifter is, and it's a very long throw. So this should fix both of those issues for $50. And I've already cheated, pulled off the plastic earlier. So it's really just going to be a couple Allen key nuts and a couple star nuts that we need to pull out of here, I think, and then we should be able to just pull this out and slide our new shifter in.
It was at this moment that he knew.
Go ahead and grab some tools, come back, and we'll get this off. Alright, went ahead and grabbed a flathead screwdriver so we can pop up the plastic. And we're just going to pull that up and out of the way. Let's see what size Allen key we got here. Alright, I tried to use standard, but it seems like it's a 5mm. And there's going to be two of those, one in this corner and one in this top right corner. And then we've got our star T30, I believe, is what's going to fit up here. I'm going to go ahead and use a socket wrench to get that off. I'll go ahead and pull these out, and I'll show you guys the next step. Alright, we're going to have to go ahead and remove this little clip right here. You're just going to pull up on that clip. That should allow you to slide this piece off. Yep. And then let's see what's down in there. Okay, so I got everything off. I'm going to walk you through it. First thing, take your boot off. Don't be dumb like me and try to get this thing out without doing that. So unscrew your knob, slide the boot off. That is going to give you a lot more access room. Now, this was slid down in there like that, and it was sandwiched between this plate that is underneath there. Underneath that, this connects to our shifter linkage, and there's a big rubber boot on that shifter linkage. And underneath there's this clip with a little spring in it. Okay, so sandwich underneath this plate and your stock plate, you've got to position this so that you can see this, but there's going to be this little thing that pops onto here, and you can feel like a button, and it is snapped onto the end and pushed onto that rubber bushing, so it'll clip into there, and there is a spring on the inside, so make sure you do not lose that spring. You can take a flathead and get the right angle and pop that off. Once you pop that off, you can just pull the rubber boot that is on the shifter linkage off and slide your entire thing out. After that, you just got to make sure you put everything back. It looks like I have a broken clip right here. There's a plastic clip here and a plastic clip here. When you slide this plate up underneath, you'll see there's two little spots for that. So just make sure you line that up correctly. Let me go ahead and get everything set up to put back together, and I'll walk you through that. All right, so now to reassemble it, we've got to get this piece off here, and you can see I slid this rubber boot. Now don't be afraid, you got to take a flathead screwdriver, just be very careful, and you got to pull this part of it up over this little knob. you want to take your new shifter, take your shifter knob off, make sure you don't lose the spring, and we're going to slide this piece off here, and you can see now it's encased with that plastic piece, and it leaves this little eggshell looking thing that we've got to pop over. Let's see here. All right, that's it. So just pressure and that pops over. Now we're going to want to go ahead and put some bearing grease in this. So I'm going to go grab some bearing grease, and then this ended up being a lot harder than I thought. What we're going to do is slide this over this part. So we're going to have to slide these pieces off. We're going to slide it down so it slides on like that, and then it's going to be encased with this. I'll show you guys that. I'm going to go ahead and grab some grease. I'm going to slide this off, make sure you don't lose your spring and you set everything off to the side properly. All right, I went ahead and grabbed some grease here, and I'm just going to grease it up inside of the eggshell. We're going to slide that piece on right now. All right, and we're going to pop this part on the top. Now we got to grab our rubber piece that has the plastic encased in it, and we're going to have to slide it on from the underneath, because you want the hard plastic part on the bottom so that it holds it in. I'm going to grab a flathead here, and I'm going to pull gently on this up and over. Now I just got to line the rubber piece up over the plastic, and this kind of encases it all into place. And there we go. Now it's on the new shifter. Now we can start installing this back down into there. We want to go ahead and slide this piece here on first, and that will go right into there like that, nice and smooth. Now this is what creates the short shifter. I forgot to mention this earlier, but this angle here compared to the straight stock one, you can see it's curved. That's what's going to create a shorter throw for us. So that's what makes this a short shifter, not just the size of our shaft here, because that can be short and still be a standard shifter. But a lot of times they combine the two, a shorter shifter and a short shifter. Now we're going to slide this back down in here. We've got our underneath box thing here. Like I said, you want to make sure you slide it into the proper place where those plastic clips kind of go in. Slide this end down into here. Turn this like so, because now we've got to grab this shifter linkage over here that we took off, and it is going to pop on. Before we do that, I did take this plastic clip off of our stock shifter, so I'm going to snap that on right here like that, and then this piece here should slide over like that. This should slide through like so. Now that's all pushed together. There's this little black retainer clip that is going to go over this post here and press straight down, a little C-clip, and that clips that all into place. Now we've got to work on the very bottom part. That is the tough one. So you've got to get this little piece snapped over top after you slide the rubber boot on. I'm not going to be able to show that because it's all underneath. I'm going to go ahead and do that now.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
So after spending close to an hour trying to get the rubber grommet back on with that little plastic clip that has a spring in it over it, I realized that plastic thing needed to go into the rubber grommet prior to sliding it onto our post. I ended up putting in our Allen keys and our star keys here, the bolts, so that it would hold it nice and tight. I pulled the shifter cable over and slid, there's a little access hole here, slid that plastic piece into the middle of it, came in from the passenger side, and slid it onto the shifter, and then ended up using this to right into the hole and pulled the shifter that direction while pressing on it, and it finally popped on. It was not easy. If you do have any issues getting it on, feel free to message me. I can give you a little bit better directions on it if you're stuck with it, but it will go on. You just have to make sure that plastic piece goes into the rubber grommet that's on the end of the shifter linkage prior to trying to slide it over your shifter post. Okay guys, we are on the home stretch of installing our new short shifter. One more quick fill-in. I accidentally installed this underneath plate reversed. Didn't think it was going to be a big deal, but I couldn't get it in any of the lower gears or reverse because it was a minute difference. If you flip it back over, so if you install it and you can't get it to go down into gears, it's because this underneath plate needs to be flipped around and go the other direction. It will install both ways, but only one way will allow you to go into all of the gears. The next thing we need to do is install our reverse lockout shaft here, which is going to have the spring on top. We'll get to that in just a second. And we also need to cut our old shifter boot zip tie out so we can slide that over, put a new zip tie on there, and strap it in. So with our reverse lockout piece, you're going to slide it on like so, with that little corner piece going over here. And you can test it out, so go ahead and put your clutch in and put it in reverse while lifting up on this, and you'll see it'll slide over this little lockout tab here. So that allows you to keep it from going into reverse accidentally while driving, because if you try to go over while this is fully down, it should not be able to engage in reverse till you pull up and over. In this set, they give you this pin here that is going to slide into your area right here to lock the shifter in, but still allow it to go up and down so you can get it in reverse. So that's going to go right into here and line up with this hole right here. So slide that on. We're going to slide our pin in, probably tap it in a little bit. The next thing we're going to do is, well, we want to put our boot on next. So we want to be able to slide our boot on. So we're going to go ahead and set our boot up. I'm going to slide that on. I'm going to hammer this pin in and come right back. Alright, so the pin is hammered in. We've got our boot zip tied on there. The last thing is this inside the kit, the short shift kit, you're going to get this little nut right here. That's in the same bag that our pin was in. You want to put that on first because that's going to give you the space you need. Real heavy shift knob, by the way. So the shift knob they give you, if you don't have that spacer in there, it won't allow you to get it into reverse. So now that we got that on there, let's go ahead and test the gears. Oh man, that is amazing. This feels really good. So it's a very short throw. That is great. I can't wait to drive this. Now all I gotta do is snap my boot back into place and we should be good to go. So guys, final fill-in. I ended up pulling out the reverse lockout little tab thing that keeps you from going into reverse, but does allow you to go into fifth gear. I was not able to go into fifth gear with the shifter set up the way it was. Unfortunately, there was no instructions with this. I couldn't find anything online, so I was playing around with it and went with what I think now is the wrong direction. This is very difficult to get out. For me to knock that pin out would just take a long time. And I was satisfied with just removing the reverse tab. I just use it that way. I'm not afraid of accidentally going reverse because that is a very difficult task to do. And most cars I've ever driven don't have a lockout for reverse. You just know where the gears are. So if you're not happy with removing that, then make sure you do test this out, put this on correctly. I apologize about that. This was not as easy as I thought it was going to be, but it is done, and I'm very, very, very satisfied with how it works. So I absolutely love the feel of the shifter. I love the weight of the shift knob. I love how it notches in. You can kind of feel it click into gears, mainly because it's a little bit lower and your shifts are a lot shorter. So with that longer shifter, it just gave you a lot more leverage to push into gears, and now you're a little bit more engaged with it. So once again, guys, my name's Pete. This is Pete's Carport. I know this is probably not something a lot of you guys are going to watch or need to watch, but I wanted to put it out there just because I couldn't find any information on installing this short shifter. And if you're going to do it, make sure you take your time and test out each part before putting it in. Have an awesome day, a blessed week, and I'll catch you on the next video.